as you can probably tell, this video is gonna revolve kind of around this Archangel's rush that I tried out, and I have a lot to say about Archangels and Seraphs and Tear the Goddess on Singed, in relation to how it's going to be next patch, which I believe comes out tomorrow. And the reason I'm making this tonight is because the next patch does come out tomorrow, and what's going to happen in the next patch is very relevant to the Tear of the Goddess, Archangels, Seraphs entire thing. Fun fact, the very first time I got the Challenger in Season 5, I actually was rushing Seraph's Embrace every single game, but that wasn't really possible in Season 6 for reasons that I will go into. But yeah, for now, I'll hold off on that topic for a bit because I actually also want to talk about this really interesting rune page that I was running this game. So this game I ran 2 armor quints, 1 AP quint, M-Pen reds, health per level yellows, and AP blues. And so you're probably wondering why the rune page is so weird and why I am running it like I am. So the original version of this rune page was with 3 armor quints and 9 AP blues. Right now I have 2 armor quints, 1 AP quint, and 9 AP blues. And the reason that I changed it up was because with 2 armor quints and 1 AP quint, you have 8.5 armor at level 1 and 16 AP. And then with the old rune page that I was running, you have 13 armor at level 1 and 11 AP. So in essence, I'm trading some armor for some more damage at early game. So the another reason that that's good is because you also get scaling health in the yellows, and those scaling health yellows will do you a lot of good, especially like in the late game, especially with the new Courage of the Colossus mastery. It scales with that very well. And you only lose 0.5 armor total for running 2 armor quints as opposed to running 9 armor seals. So 2 armor quints gives you 8.5 armor, and 9 armor seals gives you 9 armor. So if you trade away the armor seals and you take 2 armor quints instead, you're only losing 0.5 armor. That's 1/2 of 1 armor seal is what you're losing. And in return, you're going to end up gaining the 216 health at level 18. And the 216 health, it doesn't sound like a lot, but 216 health can make or break a fight, especially in the late game. And like I said, I've said this before, but I sold this rune page, right? I guess I copied it technically. I copied this rune page from a Korean top laner who played on MVP. His name is ADD. I looked around at Korean pro player profiles, and I saw that he was the only one who was playing Singed at the time. He played it just for fun at a few games in solo queue, and I saw that he was running that old rune page that I was telling you guys about, the 3 armor coin one, so I decided to try it. I thought it was good. I ran it for a while, but after some thinking, I decided that for laning, I think that this rune page is probably going to be just a little bit better. No offense to ADD, he's probably a great player. He's probably a better player than I am, but I also got the Challenger playing only Singe, so I think that this version of his rune page will in the long run, I think it will be a little bit better. Mastery is just the usual 12-0-18, running Unyielding in Resolve for scaling late game, running Tough Skin, running Runic Armor, yada yada yada, all the just usual Fearless, Swiftness, and Courage of the Colossus. So there you saw me get a solo kill on Poppy, and the reason that I was able to do that was because I recalled after my proxy, and I had a Corrupting Potion and Darksteel both completed. That gave me a lot of dueling power, which he didn't expect because of my extra. Technically, I had a recall item advantage on top of her. So here, I thought that Vi was going to be over here, but she is, for some reason, clearing this side of the jungle. So I ended up just using the Blast Flower and running away, popping my Ghost when I really didn't have to. So the reason I'm gonna start talking about Tear the Goddess because I just bought it, and the whole Archangels Seraphs thing that I wanted to really elaborate on. The reason that I rushed at this game was because I really wanted to try it again, because season 7 preseason, the meta has kind of been a lot more friendly towards Singed. It's not quite as easy as it was in season 5 when the meta was really good for Singed, but the meta right now in preseason 7 is still really good. And that allows you to or I guess it doesn't really allow you to, but it makes room for a build that focuses on a Tear of the Goddess item. A lot of people probably know that I thought Tear of the Goddess was absolute garbage throughout all of Season 6, which it was. And a big part of that was just the ridiculous cost of Tear of the Goddess. In, like, Tear of the Goddess and, what is it? The Rylai's Liandry's combo. Rylai's and Liandry's were both 3,200 gold each. That means that they were 6,400 gold total, which is absolutely crazy for core items for Singed. Since he's kind of like relatively low econ, he doesn't really get a lot of kills, he mostly just gets money through farming, right? So, in preseason 6, in patch 5.22, 1 whole year ago, Riot made it so that the cost of Rylai's and Liandry's were 3,200 each. This really hurt Singed, and that was part of the reason why I started changing towards the playstyle of just going Zzeroth and Zzeroth and what else was that? Go Zzeroth like Righteous Glory and stuff like that, because they were two like really cheap items. I do a lot of Pearl Belt just because it was cheap. Like there was no really good cheap. There was nothing that was really good for Singed that was like able to be built in a good amount of time for Singed to be able to affect the game. Because it felt like if you ever just like rushed or Rylai's, or if you just sort of went like first item Liandry's, a lot of the time the game would essentially be decided before you could finish those items. So let's talk about the Seraph's rush. The reason I want to rush Seraphs this game, I guess technically you rush it as an Archangel's, but the Tear of the Goddess, I timed it. Tear of the Goddess takes around 14-15 minutes if you're just non-stop using your Poison Trail to stack fully, and that's actually a really long amount of time. So the way that you can overcome this as Singed is you can just buy the entire Archangel staff and it will tick twice as fast. It'll go up 8 mana per tick instead of 4, and this cuts down the stack time by half, which is really, really good. A 6 or 7 minute Seraphs from the time that you buy an Archangel's is really good, and if you've been stacking a tier before that, then it's even like an even shorter amount of time. Seraphs, if you consider the HP that you get from Singed's passive and the shield, you end up getting 250 health from Seraphs due to Singed's passive, and then if you count the shield from just Seraphs and his base mana alone, you actually end up getting more effective HP than Rod of Ages gives Singed. And this is also another part of the reason why I think Rod of Ages is just so bad for Singed. Like not any other mana items. There's not that many mana items in the game, but Seraphs alone will be like a super powered Rod of Ages. Basically, you get more damage if you count the shield and the mana. You get more HP. You get a way better late game, because whenever you scale in a late game with Seraphs, you will do a lot more damage. You get, if you consider the mana that you get from Righteous Glory. The mana from Righteous Glory, I think it's like 300 mana. You end up getting 163 AP from Seraphs. The base AP on Seraphs is 80. So keep in mind that the passive from Seraphs essentially doubles the amount of AP that you're getting from that item. Actually, more than doubles it. It goes from 80 to 163, which is absolutely crazy. So yeah, if you're ever gonna go a mana item on Singed, please don't go Rod of Ages. Righteous Glory is fine because Righteous Glory actually helps his gameplay, and I think Righteous Glory is probably still going to be core, but don't ever build Rod of Ages ever. If you want to win. It's just like a big ball of stats that does essentially nothing for Singed besides give him stats, and you can't win with just stats alone. You need to have like decent damage output. You need to have like the shield from Seraphs lets you make a lot of clutch plays, especially with Courage of the Colossus. It's just a lot better. Plus Rite of Ages doesn't really give you like good late game stats. It doesn't give a lot of health anymore. It gives mostly AP. And even then, the amount of AP that you get from Rite of Ages is only like 100 compared to Seraph, which gives 163 if you consider its passive. So yeah, rushing this item first, Singe can rush Seraph's first because he is actually the fastest tier stacker, the fastest Archangel stacker in the game. And getting the full item first means that you actually complete it very quickly, and that's like a very good late game item for him. A big part of the reason why Singe's win rate in Season 6 was so low, around like the 35-minute mark, was because that was the point where he'd be about 5 items, right? And you're thinking, 5 items, oh, that's really good. You know, late game items for Singe. He's always been a good late game character. He was really not a good late game character at all in Season 6. His laning was bad, his mid game was good, and his late game was fucking bad. So he was like a mid game character who had a really bad laning phase, and that doesn't really translate into a very good like game for him, because if you're a mid-game character who has a bad late or has a bad early game, then you're not going to be able to like get the items that you need in time to make your mid-game worth it. And that's a big part of the reason why Singe was so frustrating for me and a lot of other people to play in Season 6. So in Season 7, or at least pre-Season 7, so far it is looking like his early game / laning phase is still like going to be kind of bad, but like in lane he's going to be bad, yeah, but if it's like an early game team fight, he's going to be really good. He's always been good at like early game team fighting, but early game laning he's always been pretty bad at. The good part now is that there's a lot more options for him that he's going to have to scale in the late game. And I think the best option for that is going to be just be the tier Archangels, Seraphs, like whole thing. Now that the next patch is going to have, actually going to have a lot of really cheaper. That's what we're looking for. He's going to have a lot more cheaper items in his inventory. So Rylai's is going to go from 3,200 gold to 2,600 next patch. They're gonna what Riot's going to do is they're going to change the AP from 100 to 75. They're going to change the health from 400. They're going to change it to 300, and it's going to be a 20% slow across every single ability in the game, not ridiculous 40% slow for some people and like a 20% slow for some people. It's going to be a flat 20% for everybody, and the stats are going to be reduced heavily. The reason that's good for Singe is because Singe never actually bought that item for the stats, he bought the item for the slow. So having access to a cheaper Rylai's by 600 gold and a cheaper Liandry's by 100 gold means that there's 700 free gold that opens up in Singe's item slots. 700 free gold means that you can easily fit a tier in there, which is 750 gold, and that tier can turn into a late game item like Seraph's. The build that I'm doing this game is actually Seraph's Rush into Righteous Glory, because Seraph's into Righteous Glory means that I'm going to have the 163 AP out of this whenever it's fully charged a lot sooner than you normally would, because a lot of people don't like to actually finish their Seraphs until the tier is fully stacked. I don't think that's really necessary on Singed, but yeah. So here I thought that I could actually kill Poppy because I'm thinking that, oh, you know, my Archangels is fully stacked. I just wait for her to like pop her ult, and then I'm like trying to dodge around, make sure she misses it. I end up juking it right there, and then I just run onto her and finish her off for the kill, I think, right here. Oh, she might get away, actually. And I got the fling on her. She's running out of my poison, taking a lot of damage. Oh, no, she actually does get away here. Yeah, so she gets away here on, like, 1 or 200 HP. It's like, yeah, less than 100 HP she gets away on. She flashes right here and just runs away. But, I only recently finished my Archangels, like, a minute ago, and it's already at 604 stacks. So at about 16, I'm gonna have a 16-minute Seraph's Embrace, which is really good, considering that it's a late game item. And in an even game like this, where it's so even in golden kills, having your early game items starting to be completed is really good. So already it's a 652, and then I have plus 59 AP on top of the 80 AP. So eventually it's gonna be a total of 163 eventually. Not quite yet. Whenever you see a control word like this, always take the time to kill it, even though Singe is really slow at it. Clearing enemy vision is very, very important. So here I'm just taking a really bad trade from Poppy because there's like... I just thought that maybe I could kill her, but she ends up being way too tanky and doing way too much damage. Because Poppy, as we all know, is a very balanced champion, and something something Riot sucks something. So yeah, the Seraphs is fully stacked around 16 minutes and 20 seconds. I go back and I decide to finish, not finish I guess, but buy the second half of Righteous Glory. Whenever that Righteous Glory is complete, this is going to have a lot more AP on it from the all passive. Oh, and as you can tell, that shield is giving me 561 damage shield. And if you consider the 250 HP from the 1000 mana for Singe, then you're getting an absolutely massive amount of HP from Seraphs alone. Like, yeah, the shield's on a cooldown, but you're not going to have, like, so many team fights in a row. Like, maybe you'll have one team fight where you can use it, one team fight where you can't use it. But for that one team fight where you can use the shield, that is a lot of effective HP. So here, I'm actually gonna back up a bit. Just running down mid, or running towards mid, because I know that people are posturing and there's probably gonna be a fight. Katarina jumps on a Twisted Fate, starts slowing him with her Rylai's. I see the opportunity to go for Vel'Koz here. Vel'Koz is alone. I dodge his little rupture thing, and I start doing look at that amount of damage that I'm putting on him. That is an absolutely insane amount of damage because it's a squishy character versus a lot of AP, and it's 250 AP right now, which means that Poison Trail has a bonus of 70 plus 75.8, which is quite a bit versus a squishy character that is a lot of damage. Versus tanks, it's not going to be nearly as pronounced because versus tanks, you will need a Liandry's eventually, but in this situation, it ends up working still because Vi's not super terribly tanky and Poppy is pretty far behind, not having a whole lot of HP. She has a lot of MR, but she's the only one right now. So here we're just messing around with Vi. She's taking a lot of damage from poison, but she probably doesn't notice it yet. I pop Seraph shield, end up tanking a lot of Vel'Koz's ult damage from it. She jumps back in, and then we just chase. She just chases through poison, and we kill her. Zac ends up tanking the Caitlyn ult. TF teleports top to try and stop the Poppy. Alright, so you see now that Righteous Glory is complete, I'm getting a lot more ability power from the passive. Righteous Glory also gives 500 health, so this gives a 587 shield right now, plus the 250 from Seraphs. I have a lot of HP. Actually, technically, Righteous Glory gives 600 health if you consider the mana on top of it. So just from Righteous Glory and this shield alone, I have almost 1200 HP. Then 250 more from the actual Singe passive. So 1450 effective HP. So here I noticed that Twisted Fate's fighting Poppy is kind of chasing her for a bit. I decide to run up because I'm pretty sure that we can kill her. So here I am. I run into Vi in the bush. She ends up queuing me. I just say fuck it and start going for Poppy instead. I pop Righteous Glory. Sadly, I'm not fast enough. I get the fling on her, but she drags me with the stun, so it ends up not being that great. Sadly, Zac got there really late and I ended up dying for this, but if Zac stopped farming and ended up just running up a little bit early, we would have killed like everybody here and not had to lose people. Yeah, he was just farming that entire time. I assumed that he would rotate. He ended up not doing it. So I'm going into a Z0 portal, and the reason I'm not going for a Rallies here is because I already have a lot of damage, and I can get a lot of slow going from the Righteous Glory and my W, so the slow is not super duper important. I will get Rallies and Leandries eventually, if the game goes on long enough, but for now I'm just going to get a Z drop because I need the defensive stats from it. I need the armor and MR. And you will notice that you can actually kill Scuttle Crab a lot faster than you normally would be able to. So here I noticed that Vel'Koz is getting harassed. I'm just trying to zone them out so he can kill this ward, but... Oh, he ends up backing off. It's embarrassing. But yeah, there's a fight that goes on, man. They pick Vi, and I'm just up here clearing minions away from Poppy. Okay, so TF teleports onto Vel'Koz, and he starts getting low. They both start getting low. Ooh, he actually gets hooked out of his ultimate, and I'm running in here with my Righteous Glory, just putting a lot of damage out. I end up getting this low on Poppy right as she ults 3 of us out, and I just run right back around to go, see if I can catch her, but she flashes out, sadly. But while they were chasing me and Twisted Fate around up top, we ended up pushing mid pretty hard. And we got a lot of damage in the tower. It's about half HP now. So I run into mid, and I notice that we're fighting again. I fling Katarina in. She gets a decent ult, but she gets interrupted by Zac, and then she dies to poison. No, she ends up surviving. And then they end up chasing me down and killing me. But the good part is I'm doing a lot of damage to everybody, even though I'm dying. Did we not use Caitlyn's heal there? No, she just lived. Alright, so now that my Z-Zerat's finished, I'm telling my team in the chat that I'm gonna split bottom with it. I can't split top with Z-Zerat because 1, Poppy has her own, and 2, she has a lot of wave clear. I want to force her out of that lane and make her go into a rotation that she's not comfortable with. Also, Vi is just standing there waiting for me to come, but I ended up showing up bottom instead. Put the Z-Zerat back there. We get a lot of pressure on this tower. I'm already forcing Katarina to come back, and I'm 2 levels up on her, so she's not going to be a very big threat to me. So Ezreal gets ulted by Vi here, and then Twisted Fate ults in. Vi, okay, Ezreal barely survives. Twisted Fate ults onto Vel'Koz. I Righteous Glory. Actually, I'm gonna back up so you guys can see that. I'm gonna focus on myself here. So while that fight's going down, I'm looking at it, and I'm searching for a TP. I find the TP, and I notice that I probably can't help with the Vi, so I pop everything, and I go for the Vel'Koz instead. We ended up killing him pretty quickly, and then I start slowing Poppy down. Get a pretty good interrupt on Poppy. She uses her E on me to try and help escape, but good. I managed to dodge her her ult, which is a good thing. Then I just ran in front of her until they killed her. And then we just turned on Baron. That's something that's really important is whenever you're split pushing a lane and people are grouping on a different side of the map, always keep an eye on the map and be ready to teleport in case you need to teleport and be there to help your team out. So my next item is excuse me. My next item is Needlessly Large Rod. I'm gonna back this fight up just a bit. My next item is Needlessly Large Rod because I'm gonna build into a Rylai's. The slow is important versus Katarina, who's really mobile, and also versus Poppy, who likes to dive, and Vi, who also likes to dive. So Bifrost ends up clutching this fight pretty hard. He survives for a super long time compared to what he should have been able to. Ezreal jumps over the wall, ends up wiping out Katarina and Vel'Koz. Pretty good fight for them. I'm just like, well, I'm over here, I'm going to be useful. They're going to end up fighting Vi a little bit. I put my W over the wall. Sadly, I couldn't actually save Ezreal here. Yeah, he actually ends up dying, and then I get blast coned over the wall by Twisted Fate. That's something that's pretty fun for Singed. I guess it's not really important, but if you're ever in a situation where you know you can't help, but you're kind of in range, just throw your W. You'll get a free assist a lot of the time. Pad your stats a little bit. Put Zizrat here because Zach's pushing bot, and then I go mid to help Twisted Fate deal with his Poppy. He ends up stunning her, I fling her up. We get a lot of damage on her, get her to like way less than half, but she ends up getting out, and Vel'Koz zones TF with his ult. Zach solo kills Caitlyn. Let's watch that again. So yeah, he has a lot of oh, he just straight up jumps on her and he just kills her. The minions are actually doing most of this damage. The minions are just destroying her. But yeah, Zizrat and Zach are pressuring the crap out of bottom. I see Vel'Koz overextended here, and I just pop everything that go right on him. Righteous Glory gives a lot of catch potential. Your Seraph's Embrace Q is doing a lot of damage right now to squishy targets like Vel'Koz. If we can actually see. It's 70 plus 105.84, and versus a character like Vel'Koz who doesn't have a lot of MR, that is going to shred him very quickly. As you can see, Katarina gets shredded. Even Poppy at this point is getting DPS pretty hard. Flash Q from Bifrost, I fling her in, we get the kill. Vi gets a massive shield from her Q on the Corrosive Colossus, but it's not enough to kill Twisted Fate. I'm just auto-attacking her, poisoning her this entire time. Fling her out of her Q, no big deal. End up getting the kill. So yeah, I guess this video wasn't really about the play-by-play, but it was like meant to be more of a demonstration of what you can do with a Seraph's Embrace Rush and how it can be good, because I spent the vast majority of Season 6, actually every single month of Season 6, saying that it was bad, because it was bad. It was really bad in Season 6, but that was because Singe's core items were so expensive he could never actually finish a build that would get him in a late game, which is why his late game was absolutely garbage in Season 6. He didn't have late game options, but with the cost reduction on his core build and the possible reintroduction of Seraph's Embrace into his build, I think he'll be a lot better in late game than he was in Season 6. So yeah, his late game will be a little bit better in Season 7, and that's something I'm looking forward to.